Hi students, I'm going to use algebra and write an equation in order to determine the dimension, or I should say the x value in the dimension of this triangle. The dimension that I've just pointed to is the length of its base. As it's written, the length of the base is 3x plus 2, but if I use algebra and write an equation using the information that I have, I can determine what x is, and then I can determine the length of this base, and that will allow me to perhaps find out other things or prove actually that the area of this triangle is 24 centimeters squared. To begin with, if the area of this triangle is 24 centimeters squared, what it means is the inside of this triangle here, it takes up 24 square centimeter units. That's how much space can be measured inside of it, 24 square centimeter units. The formula we use for an area of a triangle is half times the base times the height. Some students also do base times the height, and then that's done first, so that's why I put it in parentheses, and then divide that by 2. I'll use what has been popular in our class, parentheses open, base times height, parentheses closed, divided by 2, as my equation. So if I'm using that as my equation, I'm going to take the 3x plus 2, the length of the base, which in this equation and formula is represented as b, 3x plus 2 times the height of the triangle, which is shown with this height line here, 6 times 6. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 6 as a distributor, and I'm going to use the distribution and the distributive property to rewrite the equation as 6, open parentheses, 3x plus 2. There's something really important that I need to add to this. Now, it is an equation, so this has to be equal to something. Okay, so it's just, otherwise this is just an expression. So 6, open parentheses, 3x plus 2, which is base times height. Okay, all of this divided by 2 is equal to 24 centimeters squared. Before I proceed, one of the things that I have to do is understand that I had to write is equal to 24 centimeters squared because this is an equation. I'm going to actually solve for this part first. And when I say this part, I'm referring to the multiplication in the equation. So let's do some distribution. 6 times 3x, that's 18x, plus 6 times a positive 2, plus 12. Divide all of this by 2. All of that's equal to 24. Okay, well, let's now divide it by 2. 18x divided by 2 is 9x. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 9x plus 6 is now equal to 24. Okay, so we still have our equation. We're going to try to solve for x. We're going to balance now minus 6 on each side to cancel out the constant on the left side of the equation. And to leave the left side only with a coefficient, 9x is now equal to 18. We're going to isolate the x by doing the inverse of multiplication. 9 times x, we're going to divide 9 by 9. We're going to balance it by doing 18 divided by 9. X is equal to 2. Okay, so we got our x. Let's see if this is right, though. X is equal to 2. If I plug the number 2 back in to the 3x plus 2, what I would have is 3 parentheses 2 plus 2. Well, 3 times 2 is 6 plus 2. The length of the space, 3 times 2 is 6 plus 2, is 8. The height of the base, the height of the triangle is 6. If you go back and use the original formula that we used, base times height, or 8 times 6, and you get 48, and then divide it by 2, you get 24, which actually is the area for this triangle. So the length of the base is 8, its height is 6. This is how we use algebra to solve for an unknown dimension when given a figure with an unknown dimension. Thank you. Have a good day.